World War I is known as the Great War. It started on July 28th of 1914 and ended on November the 11th, 1918. There were 9 million soldiers killed and another 21 million more were wounded. Civilian casualties caused indirectly by the war numbered close to 10 million. Now, the United States stayed out of the conflict until April of 1917. And the History Center for Aransas County houses some of that history, which features contributions made by those from our area.
Our mission here at the History Center is to tell the story of the people, the men and the women, who developed Aransas County.
Vicki Moon Merchant is the president of the Friends of the History Center. Her organization collects and displays that history. And right now, the stories of the role that Rockport played in World War I are front and center in words and pictures.
The Brundrets had a ranch over on St. Joe Island, and they raised horses, and the U.S. military, the Army needed horses for the war. So 5 of the Brundret brothers went to Fort Sam Houston, and after they sold the horses, then Fred and Oliver were pressed into service.
Pressed into service translates into forced military recruitment. We understand the brothers ended up in the war and had to take care of mules instead of horses. One of the many unusual and interesting stories you can find here. We're out here along Shell Ridge Road just south of Rockport, and believe it or not, at one time back during World War I, this area was filled with a huge shipbuilding operation where hundreds of men and women were supporting the war effort. It was called the Heldenfels Shipyard, with some 900 men and women workers. The company won a federal contract to build 4 ships for the war effort. Unfortunately, the ships weren't completed in time for World War I, but they were ready in 1919 and converted into barges. The curator of the local maritime museum explains what happened after that.
The Baychester was completed, and then the Zuniga was completed in early September of 1919, and about the next week or so after that was the 1919 hurricane.
That storm killed 287 people and virtually destroyed Port Aransas. It did quite a bit of damage in Corpus Christi as well. Collecting all of this information was time-consuming. Merchant tells us she even made a plea on Facebook for locals to send in their World War I stories or pictures. Vicki Merchant said the material started coming in after that.
A lady called and said that she had her grandfather's diary, World War I diary. So he actually kept notes. He put down when his horse was killed in overseas, and what he did every day, where he visited. He visited France and went to Paris, and this was really a wonderful find to find out how a World War I soldier lived.
This is the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, and here in Aransas County, they haven't forgotten the Great War, and this History Center invites everyone to come here and take a look at those who served their country during the war to end all wars. From Aransas County, Michael Gibson, 3 News.